Hello, and welcome to our Extension Ed Talk. Today our topic is cooking healthy foods. I'm Donna Krug, and I'm with the Cottonwood Extension District. My office is in Great Bend, and I wrote a fact sheet last year, and I'm going to be sharing some of that information with you today. Have you ever thought about sautéing with water, or perhaps you've had a boiled salad? You know, both of those terms may not mean a lot to you, so today in our conversation we'll be sharing how to properly saute and also prepare boiled salads. You know, food that we eat should be both nutritious, delicious, and also very attractive. And so if we can help people learn ways to cook and prepare their food that makes it more colorful and more tasty, then that is our goal has been accomplished. The fact sheet that I prepared, titled Healthy Cooking Styles, has a picture of a stir fry, just like you see on the backdrop here. And it is exactly what I'm hoping you will want to prepare when you finish listening to this presentation. There are actually 5 cooking styles that I will be covering today. And it's just that before we begin with that, we want to talk about the kinds of things that you need to have in your kitchen. It's really pretty simple. First and foremost, you need to have a sharp knife and a cutting board. I have shown here a wooden cutting surface. However, the acrylic cutting surfaces are perfectly fine to use, and in a commercial type kitchen you will find that you are required to use those because they can be placed into a dishwasher and properly sanitized. You can, however, sanitize a wooden cutting surface, and so I prefer that. I think that in a way it keeps my knife from becoming dull quite as quickly. So those are 2 very essential things as we go through the different cooking styles. The other thing that you will need is some sort of heavy pot with a tight-fitting lid. And you'll probably want more than one, but at least have a nice heavy pot that will be able to be used to create these different cooking styles. The first style that we want to discuss today is steaming vegetables. When you are talking about steaming, we are talking about having a small amount of water, bringing it to a boil in a pot or in a pan, and then you can see on the screen there is a steamer basket. They make collapsible ones that are quite inexpensive if you do not have a steamer basket with your set of cookware. I made sure a couple of years ago when we replaced our cookware set that we did purchase a steamer with our set of cookware. But it's a great way to get vegetables to cook quickly, so that if you have a meal in the oven and it's going to be ready in 6 minutes and you say, oh my goodness, I don't have a vegetable to serve with it, you could easily steam a vegetable. You want to make sure that your vegetables are cut into small pieces when you use a steamer, and you will be steaming the product for about 3 to 5 minutes. Really depends on the size and cut of the vegetables. The other thing that can happen is that you would want to save that water to use in soup broth perhaps, or as a stock for a future meal, or add it to a casserole. So again, the nutrients that might come out when you are steaming can be saved when you use that water. Another fun cooking style is to saute vegetables. And I have used the terminology water saute. Now the actual word saute means to jump or skip, which I think is kind of a fun thought, to see your food jumping and skipping in the pan. But when you are using the saute method, you may use either oil or water. There are a few things that you'll want to consider doing, and one of those is that you do not want to crowd the food. The skillet that you see pictured in my presentation shows just the one layer of vegetables, and that is about as much as you would want to try to saute at one time. So again, do not crowd the vegetables. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you're cutting your vegetables into some smaller pieces. This way, again, it will cook quickly because you do not saute for very long. It's just, again, a very quick method for preparing a healthy meal. You will want to stir often, or you can let the stir fry or the saute actually brown on one side, and it's really your choice. Whatever you and your family prefer is totally up to you. When you do saute with oil, it will require a higher heat than when you saute with water. So keep that thought in mind. And then my final bit of advice with sauteing is do not overcook, because overcooking your vegetables in a saute method will just really create a more mushy texture, and that is not something that you will enjoy as a family. So far we have talked about steaming and also our water saute. Our third method for cooking, a healthy cooking style, is our pressure cooking. I want to talk a little bit about the different types of pressure cookers you see pictured here. There is a pressure saucepan pictured at the top that has an interesting appearance, and that is one where the lever, when you pull it, will actually pull the lid up under the rim of the pan, and that is a great brand of pressure cooker. You also see one at the lower part that is more traditional, like a pressure saucepan that you might be familiar with. And then you see something that we are termed an electric pressure cooker. There are many brands on the market, and I'm certainly not promoting any of those, but those are also a possibility, something good that we can use as we look and explore healthy cooking styles. It's time for a break, so when I come back, I will visit with you a little bit more about pressure cooking and then the final two different ways to create healthy meals. And again, I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
What a girl wants in her home kitchen. Ease of use, flexibility, fun, the latest kitchen design, Frigidaire Professional Real Stainless Steel for fewer finger smudges, a French door refrigerator, convection cooking, a quiet dishwasher. Have the staff at Genuine Appliance in Hayes demonstrate new Frigidaire Professional appliances to find what you want. Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th in Hayes. Everything a girl wants.
Welcome back to the second portion of our program today. Again, I'm Donna Krug with the Cottonwood Extension District, and I'm sharing the fact sheet that I wrote last year titled Healthy Cooking Styles. Now, when we took a break, I was telling you about the different types of pressure cooking devices. We have some range top ones, and then we also have the electric pressure cooker that you see pictured here. Now, there are some real advantages for using a pressure cooker to create a healthy meal. One thing is it works great for preparing dry beans or grains. It seems to soften them very well, and then it also is a really good instrument or tool to use if you have a less tender cut of meat that you're trying to prepare. It definitely does a great job of tenderizing it and preparing it in a timely way. A pressure saucepan will cook food a little more quickly, and it does help to retain the nutrients. The way all of these pressure cookers work, they of course use a small amount of water and then your food product. And what happens as you put the lid on and bring it up to pressure, the boiling water creates steam, and then that in turn will create the pressure that will then help to create that quick cooking style. And again, it's great because it retains nutrients and it will use a little less liquid, and again, there will be no waste, and all those nutrients will still be in the food when you are completed. Now, I've always kind of felt like cooking styles need to be varied, and so I've shown you three so far. I've shown you steaming, and I also showed you saute, and now we've talked about pressure cooking. And my advice to you is try to pick a variety of these cooking styles as you plan meals for your family. I mentioned cooking grains using a pressure cooker, and I have a picture here that shows what the difference between cooking brown rice might look like. It has just a little different appearance. It might be a little stickier if you use the pressure cooker. And again, you just have to decide as a family which way do we like better, which is our preference, and that may help you to decide how you want to cook your grains. One of my favorite healthy cooking styles is called Shimmy. Shimmy is a Japanese style, and it is also called slow stewing. The dish that you see here on the right is a dish that's prepared using the Shimmy style. Now what you would want to do is get a heavy pot that has a tight-fitting lid, and in the bottom, I like to use just a little bit of kombu. Kombu may be an ingredient that you have not heard of before. It is a sea vegetable, and we need to soak it for a little bit, and then I would cut it into small pieces, and I would put that in the bottom of the pot that I am going to cook my Shimmy vegetables in. Kombu, again, is a sea vegetable, and if you are not able to find it in your local market where you are, you can substitute a generous pinch of sea salt or salt to help tenderize the vegetables, because that's one thing that kombu will do. It helps to tenderize. It also brings out the natural flavor of the vegetables, and it's just a great way to add just a little bit of minerals to your dish that you are preparing. The other ingredient that we would be adding to our Shimmy style vegetable would be some soy sauce, and we would do this a little bit more at the end. So let me just take you through what we would do. First of all, I would cut some vegetables in pretty large chunks. And in a little bit, I'll be showing you some of my culinary cutting skills and show you what I mean by cutting a chunk of, say, carrot or parsnip. And so a root vegetable is really good to use. So carrots work well, cabbage is another really good one to use, and of course onions bring out a nice flavor too. So a lot of times when I do the Shimmy style cooking, I would put those in 3 different areas of the pan so that they cook kind of under one lid, but they are all together. You can also layer the vegetables. It's really, again, up to you. There are some other ingredients that you can add to Shimmy style cooking that make it kind of fun. Some of these are maybe a little harder to find depending on where you are living and located, but the food on the left is a daikon radish, or it's a white radish. And so it's a very mild tasting radish, and you could cut rounds like you see here or chunks of it, and you add it to your Shimmy style vegetable. The other one is, of course, the parsnip. It looks kind of like a carrot, but it is creamy colored, and again, very sweet when you cook it slowly, as the slow stewing method shows you. So the final cooking style that I want to talk about today is boiling or blanching. Now, if you're watching this and you think, oh, I know how to blanch things, because many people who have done food preservation through the years will be very familiar with boiling and blanching. So blanching is also known as parboiling. We know that when you are parboiling something, it's going to help retain their shape and color. You're not overcooking anything. In fact, what we really encourage you to try is to create a boiled salad. Now, this means that you would immerse a vegetable into boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you would place it in cold water for that same length of time. So that brings that vegetable back to room temperature, and so it makes a really interesting, it makes it easier to digest than a raw salad, but it's just a fun way to get kids to maybe like vegetables because they still have some crunch to them. One thing that I will mention as you choose your vegetables for a boiled salad would be that you would want to, if you have any kind of strong vegetables, such as maybe cauliflower, or beet, you would want to do those last. You want to immerse the carrots maybe first and maybe the broccoli second, and then do the stronger flavor or the brightly colored vegetable last. So when we come back, I will visit with you more about the healthy cooking styles and share some of the culinary cutting skills with you. We'll be back in just a minute.
Storage Solutions is invested in complete customer satisfaction. You can choose a drive-up unit or a climate-controlled unit. Plus, you can choose from storage units of all sizes to fit your inventory. And that's not all. They'll sign for your packages and deliver and unload them into your unit. Storage Solutions has been named in the top 100 U-Haul dealers 6 times. Rent a pickup, cargo van, or moving truck to keep your goods on the go. Remember, making moving and storing easy is Storage Solutions in Hayes and Victoria.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedar View Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedar View. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedar View Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
Welcome back to our Extension Ed Talk titled Healthy Cooking Styles. My name is Donna Krug and I'm with the Cottonwood Extension District, and it's just fun to share some of the things that I'm very passionate about. And one of those things is cooking healthy foods. I have found that just learning how to cut the food properly just makes a lot of it a lot easier. So today I'm going to show you some of the culinary knife cuts that I have found that are just kind of fun to try. I'm going to start with a carrot that I want to cut into matchsticks. You know, I'm going to cut the 2 ends off of my carrot, and I know that I used to try to balance this round carrot and try to cut really fine, and if I did that today, probably in front of this camera, I would probably cut myself. So I have learned a better technique that is much safer. So I want to show you that I'm going to cut some diagonals, very thin diagonal cuts on my carrot. And that's probably enough to show you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take those, and I can actually layer 2 or 3 of them. Now I have a flat surface, so it's much easier to now cut what I call little matchstick pieces of carrot. So again, it's just a fast way to do matchsticks. I can then take 2 more pieces and just cut my little matchsticks again. And one more time, I'll show you how easy this is. All right, so I'm going to put those off to the side. I have some carrot left, so I want to show you another fun cut to do. Again, you want that diagonal cut, only this time, instead of doing a very thin diagonal cut, I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch up on the carrot, and then I'm going to go another 1/2 inch, and 1 more. So now I have these big chunks of carrot. I'm going to cut them now. I'm going to put the flat side down, and when I cut them, I get something called a ribbon cut. Now actually you're not seeing that, the sample. The batonette is probably a little similar to this, but this is something I have found is, it kind of looks like the end of a ribbon. And so it's kind of a fun cut to use, say if you were doing one of those boiled salads, or if you were going to saute vegetables. Both of these, the matchstick and the ribbon cut, are very appropriate for using in that way. I have one other carrot that I want to show you how I would cut a carrot for the Shimmy style vegetables. So again, I'm going to cut my ends off of the carrot, and I'm going to make a diagonal cut. Now, I want you to look at my left hand and watch what it does. It turns the carrot a 1/4 turn, and then I make another diagonal cut. I turn one more time and continue to make those diagonal cuts. I turn and cut, turn and cut. And I'll show you in the end what really nice pieces I get when I do that sort of cut. It's a nice irregular shape, And they're a little chunkier, so these would be perfect to add to a soup or a stew, or for sure on using those, the Shimmy vegetable, the Shimmy style slow stewing vegetable. This would be the perfect way to cut those carrots for that. So I am going to move these items to the side here, and I will move to my next slide, which is talking about cutting onions. If you're like a lot of people, cutting onions is not your favorite thing to do, and yet I really don't want you to cheat and use dried onions or like onion powder or onion salt. There's really nothing better than the good nutrients you get from using a raw onion and adding it to your cooking. So what I'm going to do now is show you something that will really help you to cut an onion without getting the tears. So first of all, I'm going to cut through my onion lengthwise. So you've got the end that had the root, and then you've got the other end. You can actually cut, you want to keep the root that has the more the hairy end, you want to keep it intact. You do not want to cut it off, but I will cut this end off and move it over to the side here. I'm going to now peel back a little bit of the onion, and because you left that one end, you actually have something to hold on to now, which is kind of handy when I show you what we're going to do with this onion. So I'm going to first show you how I prepared the onion chunks for the Shimmy style vegetable dish that you saw earlier in the pictures. So it wants a chunk of onion or a wedge. So I am going to cut through my onion in about 3 places. But did you see I didn't cut through at the very top, so I can still pick my onion up and you can still, it's still intact. The final thing I will do is to cut that off, and now you can see that I have 4 nice chunks of onion. So that's perfect. I'm going to show you one other onion cut that we can do, and that would just be to cut a little differently. We don't want a chunk this time. We want it to be smaller. Perhaps we want to use like maybe medium dice. So if we want a medium dice, we want to cut through at about every 1/2 inch. So we were making a few more vertical cuts, but do you see it's still intact? Then I simply cut every 1/2 inch, and when you get to this part, if it's not possible to cut it, you'll want to cut this direction and then that direction, and you have nice medium diced onion there. So again, pretty easy to do. So there are my onion wedges, large dice, medium dice, and small dice. And I want to show you real quickly here how you would do the chiffonade cut. This would be using maybe a collard leaf. I actually have a cabbage leaf here with me today because that's what I had on hand. But I want to show you kind of quickly how you can add ribbon cuts to your food. You simply roll the green leaf up. I cut the real thick part of the stem out, okay? And I'm going to cut this in nice little fine ribbons, and as you can see, then you could easily then have those ready for to add to a soup or something like that. So it's really not hard to cut, just got to take some practice. All right. So I want to end my presentation with just reminding you of how important it is to include vegetables and grains into your diet. I have here a picture of a typical day in Kansas, and unfortunately, many breakfast plates will look like this with a lot of grain, a lot of same color. And then unfortunately, lunch might be in a hurry and you grab a sandwich and yeah, there's some potatoes, but they're potato chips or French fries. Not probably our best choice. And then finally, the supper meal. Could be a pasta dish, it could be a macaroni and meat, a goulash, it could be pizza and maybe corn. Again, I don't see any green vegetables. So if we could change that to this, an atypical day in Kansas. You see here some kale, you see some salad ingredients, a lot of the ingredients that you saw me working with today to present this healthy cooking style presentation. So just another reminder that this fact sheet is available either online by simply going to the KSRE website and then clicking on the bookstore. And if you do that, you can either type in healthy cooking styles or you can type in the fact sheet number, which is MF3350, and it will take you right to the fact sheet. And it will have information about all the different, not necessarily recipes, but ideas of how you can recreate some of the things that I have shown you today. I hope you have fun with healthy cooking styles. Again, I will visit with you again sometime in the future. I'm Donna Krug with the Cottonwood Extension District, which is Barton and Ellis counties.